guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Do appreciate all the love and support we got on that first one, breaking down Tuchel's selected England squad for the World Cup. Today what we're going to be doing is having a look at those players, or some of those players that have missed out. Okay, so first up we have got goalkeepers, and we're going to look at Nick Pope. Last season, or this season, however you want to look at it, the 25 to 26 season, basically 26 appearances, 85 saves, 7 clean sheets, a 70% save percentage. If we're talking about pure shot stopping ability, Nick Pope has always been one of England's best. The bloke makes saves that keeps teams in games. Very experienced, brilliant reflex keeper, commands his area well, strong physically and in the air. Modern football has changed though, and goalkeepers are sort of almost expected now to play as an outfield player, with an aspect, of course. Distribution can be inconsistent when Nick Pope is concerned, and Tuchel may want more comfort playing from the back. At 33, 34, he's probably not viewed as a long-term option. Henderson probably gives Tuchel a little bit more with his feet and his all-round style. Trafford feels like a future investment, younger, calmer on the ball, and probably England's next long-term number one. I don't think anyone would have gone mental if Pope was included, but I also completely understand why he wasn't. His Newcastle United teammate then out on loan there is Aaron Ramsdale. Now Ramsdale this season has had 10 to 12 league starts, 23 saves he's made, 1 clean sheet. He's got around 63 to 65% save percentage. We've seen Ramsdale perform at the top level before. He isn't suddenly a bad goalkeeper. Great distributor, high energy personality, tournament experience around the England setup, and can pull off spectacular saves. The problem for Ramsdale isn't talent, it's consistency. He hasn't fully nailed down a guaranteed starting role. Form has gone up and down and can sometimes have those chaotic moments. I am a big lover of Aaron Ramsdale, and I want nothing more than to see him do well. I was gutted for him at Arsenal, but when I think Arteta got a lot of stick at the time for how that sort of unfolded, but Arteta was trying to build a team to go on and compete for the league, and I think when you compare to David Raya, then you can sort of see that Arteta did make the right call there. I do feel for Ramsdale. I think he's a fantastic person, but it is just that consistency that I do think lets him down. Pickford's England performances are ridiculous. Like, honestly, every tournament he turns into prime Buffon, and compared with Henderson as well, he's definitely had the stronger season. It's just difficult, to compare him to any of those three goalkeepers. I mean, the only one you could compare him to is Trafford, but I think again Trafford's had a stronger season than what Aaron has. I don't think many England fans are losing sleep over Ramsdale missing out, but he's still a decent keeper. The last one I've gone for on this list we have got Sam Johnstone. For inclusion, I would say Johnston's always been one of those dependable keepers, experienced, reliable, good shot stopper. He doesn't really bring anything that different though when compared to the other three. Limited upside compared with younger options, obviously. Less long-term value. Doesn't have Pickford's international profile. Trafford feels like England preparing for the future a little bit more, I would say. No disrespect whatsoever, but this probably isn't one people were expecting to cause chaos online. But still, when, looking at England's top keepers, I think you'd have to throw his name up there. Overall then, I think Tuchel got the goalkeeper situation pretty spot on. Pickford's still number one, Henderson's earned his place, Trafford gives you the future, and while Pope probably has the strongest argument out of the players left out, I don't think any of these omissions are absolute robberies. Now, this is where things start getting interesting. Let's move on to the defenders. So first up, we're going to take a look at Ben Chilwell. Probably not the strongest name on here, but I did think it was worth throwing him into the equation. At his best, Chilwell gives you energy, overlaps and proper attacking threat from a fullback. Big tournament experience already, can play left back or wing back, good delivery into the box. However, the issue isn't ability anymore, it's whether Tuchel trusts his body. Injuries have repeatedly disrupted him. Tuchel may prefer younger, more athletic profiles. Livramento and Spence give more pace as well. And again, an understandable omission. I think one of the bigger shock ones has got to be Mr. Slabhead, hasn't it? Harry Maguire. Maguire is almost a different human being. Huge aerial presence, tournament experience and leadership as well. Tuchel might simply be looking at mobility. I guess recovery pace isn't his strength. England appear to be moving younger. Yehi and Conte fit the quicker system more. Burn gives similar physicality but more versatility. Harsh but perhaps slightly understandable. Then we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Pure football ability, I think Trent walks in. Elite passing, set pieces, chance creation as well. We've had this conversation for years when it comes to Trent though, and that is his defending. Tuchel may want more defensive reliability. Reece James offer better balance, and Spence gives recovery pace. James gives you a more complete right back profile. Then we've got Lewis Hall, a name that was thrown up there in a lot of people said that, you know, he should have definitely made that, and I think you could possibly argue him in there over the likes of Spence. That's me personally. Massive upside, technically brilliant. Comfortable on the ball, flexible positionally, and high energy as well. I think going against him, it could just be timing. Competition is obviously ridiculous, and Tuchel may prefer slightly different profiles. But other than that, I do really feel for Lewis Hall because I think he's done enough to get himself there, especially over the likes, like I say, for me, than Spence. Next up, we got Luke Shaw then. Whenever Shaw plays for England, usually turns up. He's strong defensively, excellent delivery, tournament pedigree as well. But again, I suppose you lean into the same issue as Chilwell. You've got fitness concerns and long-term availability worries. So again, slightly a little bit more understandable. Another name I've thrown in there is Max Aarons from Rangers. Quick attacking threat, can get up and down. Unfortunately, he's running into some ridiculous competition. I think others just simply offer that little bit more that Tuchel is possibly looking for. Next up on the list, we've got Fikayo Tomori of AC Milan. Tomori's always been one I felt England haven't used enough personally. Fast centre half, strong 1v1, high level European experience, and I just think he would be a little bit more of a Tuchel style defender. But must be wrong. Tuchel may have a little bit more trust in some of the others. He's drifted in and out internationally, so hasn't really stellar a place. And competition, like I say, is of course absolutely stacked. Looking at the defenders, I think Trent's probably the one that causes the biggest debate alongside Maguire and maybe Tomori, who I do think have pretty strong arguments, and Lewis Hall as well. When you compare them directly with the players that have been selected, you can at least understand what Tuchel is trying to build for the most part. Right, now we're getting to some absolute chaos territory, the midfielders. Okay, I can't really start without mentioning Cole Palmer. I feel like one of the bigger ones, probably one of the biggest talking points in the entire squad. Elite technically, doesn't panic under pressure, cold Palmer for a reason, can create and score and can play multiple attacking roles. That versatility could have been astounding. The issue might not be Palmer himself, it might be balance. Tuchel may want more runners and direct ball carriers. Rodgers offers power, Eze offers the unpredictability. Eze wants to run at people immediately, and Rodgers physically drives through teams. So it's a harsh one, but, I don't think we're short of good options in midfield. It's just one of them that, Palmer's unfortunate to miss out. Next up, we've got Conor Gallagher, another name I just kind of threw into the mix there. I don't think it's a crazy omission, but yeah, you know exactly what Gallagher gives you. Energy, pressing, covers loads of ground, and a proper workhorse. Sometimes people ask what his standout elite quality actually is. He doesn't give Rice's control, he doesn't give Bellingham's quality, and he doesn't give Mainoo's calmness. Compared with the likes of Elliot Anderson, I would say Anderson probably offers a similar work rate, but with a bit more progression. The overall verdict on Gallagher not making the squad is understandable. Phil Foden then, one of the next big shocks, I think, in regards to that first video. Foden and Palmer were talked about quite a bit in the comments. A few other names mentioned as well, which are going to be further down on this list. Pure football ability, Foden walks into almost any squad in the world. He's brilliant technically, goals, creativity, and he can just unlock games. The England conversation always comes back to one thing: where does he actually play? Left wing, number 10, central midfield? Tuchel might simply feel, I've got players that naturally fit these roles already. Compared with Eze gives more direct dribbling. Compared with the likes of Rodgers gives the power and the physicality. Huge omission. One of the bigger losses, I would say. Now, another one that's a bit of an underdog, I think, but definitely deserves a shout, and I think one thing that could have seriously let him back was the fact that he's playing for Forest and not for one of the big six. I mean, is there a big six anymore, or is it a big five? But you get what I'm saying. We got Morgan Gibbs White, really underrated footballer, creative, high work rate, and can play multiple positions. England's attacking midfield competition is ridiculous though, with Bellingham, Eze, Rodgers. It's a harsh but understandable one. Overall, I think he deserves to be up there with the likes of Foden and Farmer, just based off the season alone that he's had. Another name I kind of threw into the mix of just the, this is just my list of players that I think could have possibly made it, and just taking a look at players that have missed out. We've got Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, consistent, good engine, and intelligent movement. Just probably doesn't have that standout quality that Tuchel wants. I think he's an expected omission, but it would have been nice to see a little curveball, possibly somebody like him. Obviously, there's other people on this list that I'd put in there ahead of him, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably choose Dewsbury Hall over Jordan Henderson. The next one I've gone for is James Garner as well. Quietly a very tidy footballer, passing, set pieces, technical and tactical intelligence. But you're competing with the likes of Rice and Mainu, and that's just absolutely brutal. I think it's an expected omission again, but still a good player that could have been pushing those kind of boundaries. Next on my list, and this was brought up by Connie actually, and I think Jacob brought it up as well previously on in a previous stream, Adam Wharton. This one does hurt a bit. Ridiculously calm, excellent passer, reads the game brilliantly. It could simply be timing and fitness with him, still developing obviously, and it's a huge competition as well. He's got very similar profiles to the likes of Mainu, calm, intelligent and composed, and as Connie said, I think him and Declan Rice would perform really well together, read each other really well. Rice could act as a bit of a mentor for him, and I think that would help him grow within his role. Wrapping up that midfield then, I think this is where England fans completely lose their heads a bit. Palmer, Foden and Wharton all have arguments. So does Gibbs White for me as well, really is a fantastic shout. Right now, let's move on to the goal scorers. Getting into those forwards then, we're going to start off with Danny Welbeck, and I actually posted a tweet a bit ago about would it be outwardly outrageous for Danny Welbeck to have made it into the England team, and I think when you look at his stats this season, he actually has a really good shout. Fair play to Welbeck, because I feel like he's really quietly reinvented himself over the last few years. The move to Brighton seemed to be perfect for him. I think Welbeck brings experience, intelligent movement, links play really well and works hard defensively. Problem is, England have already got strikers that do that little bit more. In Kane, you've got your goals and leadership. In Watkins, you've got your pace and relentless running. And Ivan Toney, I suppose, is the weaker option for me. He's got that physicality and hold-up play. I think Welbeck, if I'd have seen Welbeck in there over Toney, I don't think I'd have been upset. We all know how I felt about Toney in that first video. Watkins probably gives more pace in behind as well. Again, so the omission, I'm going to say, is understandable, but I still think he would have a good shout over being in there for Ivan Toney. That's just my opinion. I'm more than willing to listen to what you guys have to say in the comments. Another one who caused a lot of outrage, to be fair, was Jared Bowen as well. Bowen's one of those players who quietly gets numbers every season. Goals, work rate, versatility, and another direct runner. Again, somebody who I would have personally thought was more of a Tuchel style player. The wide positions obviously are absolutely stacked. Gordon offers more explosive pace. Madueke offers that 1v1 ability. Saka is obviously undroppable. I think Gordon probably edges him for raw speed and pressing. It's still a very, very harsh omission, I have to say. I wouldn't have complained. I wouldn't have minded seeing Bowen in there, probably over the likes of Gordon, possibly of Madueke. I'd have understood it a little bit more. Then we've got Dominic Solanke, who's been fantastic, I think, up until his move to Spurs. I think when you're talking about Spurs and you're looking at Spurs players, it's not been a great season for them overall, as we all know. Massively improved over the last few years. He's strong physically, better all-round game now, and he can hold up the ball as well. You're fighting the likes of Kane, Watkins and Toney again. Doesn't really bring something England don't already have. The competition is quite brutal. I think you could argue his case over Tony. The only issue, again, I think with Solanke has been his fitness this season as well. I'm not 100% sure. Is he back or did he pick up another knock and is he out again? I can't quite remember, but yeah, I know he has struggled quite a bit. Now, I've thrown in Liam Delap into the mix as well. I think he's worth talking about. He's got to be, again, he's up there in terms of he could be pushing the boundaries of making it into the England squad at some point. This one feels more like future England than current England. You've got powerful, aggressive, proper centre forward build with huge potential. And again, it might just be the case with Delap that it is just a year too early, got less top level experience, and maybe Tuchel wasn't quite willing to play that gamble there. And again, I do think he struggled with injury a little bit this season as well, in a very yo-yo Chelsea side as well. The Chelsea have been all over the gap this year, at least when compared to the likes of, obviously, Kane again for me is undroppable. Tony gives you that proven experience right now, but then again, so do some of the others, I think, possibly. Tammy Abraham then. People forget Tammy's actually had some really good seasons. He's an aerial threat, good movement, and he can stretch defences really well. I think injuries and inconsistency have hurt him quite badly. It's hard to justify over the current options, and overall probably a fair omission. And that does wrap up our forwards, I do believe. I did throw in some honourable mentions in there as well. So first up, I got Jadon Sancho. If Sancho rediscovers his best form, England suddenly have another ridiculous option, which you'll probably want consistency rather than flashes. Miles Lewis-Skelly thrown into there as well. Now, he's hardly had many minutes for Arsenal this season, but I do think he had some fantastic games towards the end of the season on the little run-in coming in. What I love about Miles is his versatility. He can play left back, he can also play in a centre midfield role as well. Massive future, massive future in my honest opinion. Technical quality, fearless, and can play multiple roles. He's got time. He's got plenty of time on his side. I think if he can continue to go the way that he's going and keep pushing the boundaries at Arsenal as well. He's been linked with a move to, I think, Manchester United have been looking at him. I hope he stays with Arsenal and I hope he pushes through, can challenge. I think him alongside Declan Rice in the midfield could be the future for us. Having him as that sort of like rotational option would be fantastic. Looking through all the players that have missed out, it's actually what hits me most is England's depth is ridiculous. Palmer, Foden, Trent, Bowen, Tomori. Some countries will build the teams around players like that. Just, you take one of those players and that's sort of all there is. You look at the likes of Norway and you've got Haaland and Odegaard as clear standouts, and then everyone else is just sort of built around those two. We are very lucky to have players, such as Palmer and Foden and Trent as people that's like, maybe, I don't think Tuchel's squad is perfect. I definitely would have changed a few things, but when you actually break it down player by player and start to understand some of the decisions. Now, let me know who's the biggest robbery, because I already know the comments are going to be absolute carnage. Are there any players that you guys would like to throw in as well? Any other honourable mentions that you guys want to give, pop them away in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you smash a like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in the next video.